Just bugging. Hey guys, how you doing out there? This is G-Man with Just Bugging. We got a prize for you today. We have finally broken the cycle of Super Beetles coming in. Yes, we have a gorgeous 1970 standard Beetle. Look at that, like canary yellow, I guess. Pretty car. I did notice something on it that I thought was quite unique. Have anybody out there seen this? Look at this. It is like frame connectors. It is freaking, I mean, you can jack the whole car up from the side, and it still has a label on one side. I've never seen it, and I've got to take a picture of it. See, it says right there, I don't know if you can see that, JP out of Denmark, a reinforcement channel. So it bolts to, it welds to the side and encapsulates, actually the bolts for the floor panel are on the other side. And see, they trim this jacking post right here. I guess that's what I always thought it was. It comes off the rear of the floor pan, under the seat. And they trim that off right there, so you still get that on the outside. But look at that, man, that is neat. That really helps for like a side collision. Better than it was. I've noticed a few issues with the floor. There's a huge hole, just busted out right there. And then over there, it's rotted from the battery box. It looks like some sort of fiberglass repair there. That's pretty shoddy. He brought it in because the pedal goes to the floor. Maybe a master. I'm going to check it out. I'm going to remove one of the wheels and check out the brake shoes. And I noticed the, I guess these would call end links, or it's a rear sway bar. That's what it is. These bushings are completely gone on the bottom. It's supposed to be down there. So that's got to be repaired. It's supposedly rebuilt. Man just bought it. Looks like it has brand new heads on it, and jugs, and stainless steel pushrod tubes. I see all the new lock nuts on the casing. So seems to have an oil leak. I don't know if it's a rear main or, it got screwed up when it was put in. I did that myself recently. So other than that, I don't see anything else wrong with it, except for poor guy just purchased it, gorgeous car, and goes to the, he was getting it tagged. He was at DMV, and someone has just backed in it and drove away. It's not here for a compression test or anything. We're just gonna change the oil and check out that oil leak. But it is a beautiful convertible. Look at that top. It's about $2,000 to put a top on, and that is a top end high quality top with a beautiful headliner in it. That's sweet. Some nice visors, and yeah, that top's brand new. It's a nice car, just needs a few repairs. Look at that, tweeter in there. I've never seen people put speakers there, but that's a great idea. Wow. Is that way? That isn't that way. I don't think I've ever seen that. This is a 72 Beetle. It just has the cross member for this rear seat. Wow. Get this seatbelt off and take a look at that. Seeing some wild, crazy reinforcements on this car. I have never seen that. Maybe that's different in 70. Anybody know that? Let me know. That is permanently in there. I've never seen that. And that's a 72 over there, standard Beetle. But nice car. Just needs a few improvements. I would have painted these black, vinyl, plastic paint. Nice steering wheel. I love that steering wheel. It's my favorite one. Well, I'm gonna open up these brakes and inspect them and see if I need to order anything. I got some rear brake shoe pads, brand new, for Super Beetle, but I looked them up and apparently they're standard for all of them. Surprisingly, the adjusters aren't frozen, and I think there's still a little life. You go through the pads in the front probably about 2 times, maybe 3 before you replace the rear. I think there's some good amount of life left in those pads, so as far as I'm concerned, it looks like the back ones don't need replaced. So I'm just going to put the drums back on them and adjust them as close as possible. They're just really out of adjustment, and then possibly the front needs replaced, so that will work. That'll work. All right, good in play. This is a swing axle, so your impact on this is your in play also on the bearing. You want to think about that. This impact has 900 foot-pounds, so I'm good. There we go. All right, it's getting on there now. All right, they're gonna reseat themselves. I think that's good. I like to have a little bit of drag. We called it a tug test. I used to do all the brakes for a fleet of 183 trucks for Waste Management. I mean, some guys would pitch in too, but it was mainly my responsibility. And your tug test, or for like a Mack truck, is between 900 RPMs with the park brake applied to 1100. And I always wanted mine at 1100. And you really didn't have to go back and adjust them yet, but of course they were self-adjusting. But curious what the front's gonna be now. So this one wasn't that bad. I don't see his master leaking inside or outside. Put the tire on there so I can make sure I get the exact feel, but feels like it to me. All right guys, I got the front all jacked up. Yes, it's exceptionally high, but my smaller jacks are underneath something else, so it'll just be high. Let's see what we got. I figured I'd look in the holes first and see how much pad is on here. Oh yeah, they're way out of adjustment. Pads are fine. I'll check it a little more when I get outside, but it says a little excessive. Tighten up that end plate on that bearing. That one feels fine. All right. Do some adjusting here. Let's see here. Which way is it gonna go? Let me turn this. There we go. That's using your noggin, Greg. Put a little bit of PB blaster on there. Yeah, there's still plenty of pad on it. Yeah, there's still plenty of pad. All right. Brakes adjusted. So you got a little slight drag there and a little slight drag there. I think they're about right. I mean, I test drive them and maybe kick it a little bit. But he's asking me to figure out why his horn doesn't work, and that was pretty easy. Here's the cable. There's nothing there. It's usually mounted right here. Right there. That's why that washer's spinning. Somebody probably took it off, didn't put it back on. Looks like it's been that way for a while. I can take care of that. All right, guys. I was dealing with this horn, trying to see why it wouldn't work. Now I understand why this ground wire, see if I just touch this with the key on, of course, the horn goes off. Well, this wire, I changed the one in the steering wheel column, so that is fine now. I've got to connect this wire back to it, replace that one. And then I still didn't have the horn. But if I connected this wire over to the horn, of course the horn worked. So I see that 70 is different than 71 and newer. So I got in here, I was looking at this and wondering why it won't ground. And then I can go down here. Well, I still don't have that connected to the steering wheel column. Let me go do that real quick. I'm gonna take this one off. Now this one's just going through the column, which it's not supposed to do. Of course, it'll just, you steer and it'll tear it off. But my horn will work. See, I can't have it like that. So I was wondering why, you know, this ring hits this hits that, this edge touches this. Then I'm looking at the instructions on YouTube, and there below all this is another brass ring, and this wire, it's a brown wire that connects to it. Well, now I see, you look down here, is this on? Yeah, it's on. Sorry about that. I look down here, and here's my brown wire. This is why the horn won't go off. So I'm gonna get into all this boogered up harness somebody has been into, which every Beetle has somebody getting into it. Where is the other end? There it is. And I see my brown wire up there. I get this damn horn fixed. Wasting all this time on a freaking horn. But it has to be repaired. Everyone wants the little beep beep of a Beetle. It is a distinct, well-known sound that has to accompany your Volkswagen classic, vintage, whatever Beetle, along with the bus and the Carmagia and so forth. So let me get through this rat's nest. Holy cow. Okay. There's my brown wire. I'm gonna go get me a connector. I'll connect that bad boy back up. And then I'm going to go back down there and connect my wire to the coupler, the gearbox coupler, rubber coupler. And you can connect that wire right here back to it. and connect that brown wire together, and my horn should work. My wiring hooked up the way it should be underneath there. So let's get this hooked up the way it's supposed to be. Hopefully the ring is fine. I don't know why they disconnected this. There may be a reason for it. Horn works. Now I'll tape up my wiring, my rat's nest under there, and put the horn button back on, and problem solved. It took a little longer than I thought, but I didn't know it was hooked up this way in 1970, and then it changed, and then you just get the ground hooked off of the horn onto the chassis, and it takes care of the rest. And this one, you hook 2 wires to it, so oh well, live and learn. Believe me, you'll never know everything about Beetles. But if you don't, there's bound to be someone else that does on YouTube. And I don't claim to know everything about Beetles. I'm just like you watching me. I watch others and I learn from them. And it's a great big family of VW enthusiasts and lovers like myself. I'm enjoying this. My son talked me into going for this, and it's been quite an experience, and it's neat how people come out to see me to work on their bug, and they already seem to know me. And it's not like you're walking up to somebody you don't know, or you just haven't met them in person before, but the ice has already been broken, and I really get a kick out of that. Let's check it again. We have a horn. We got bush. We have bush.
Bush. We've got bush!
All right, now I noticed one of those screws didn't have some insulation on it, like a little plastic washer. So I'm gonna go find me something and get back to this. All right, I'm happy with that now. Never give up. All right, guys, I'm back. All right, my wire's plenty slack through. Pull this window down. It's getting a little warm today. Gonna cut this. All right, there's my little piece. Connector. All right, I'm gonna take a little bit of sandpaper, get all the corrosion off this copper ring here. So we have a good connection there. And I'll do the same to this one, because of course it's the actual edge of it touches that. Be sure you get your little plastic insulation pieces here. And see, I found me something. I had to enlarge the center, and that's going to work for me there. Says you don't want it to be touching, so you put these through, and then you're going to take your, I want to put actual, it can be a little bit of pain in the butt to do this part. Put your spring on there. A spring on there, a spring on there. Feed your wire through the center of your horn and get your screws up into the holes. Kind of depress a little bit so you can find your threads. Look like it's kind of eating the threads somewhat out of the steering wheel. I hope that's not the case. That very well might be. There we go. What's going on? Might just be the springs didn't let me catch a thread. There you go, looks like it's holding itself now. Yeah, I think we're good. Sinking in there nicely. All right, and get your little ground screw up. Get this bad boy on there. Kind of hard to do that with gorilla fingers. All right. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. The life and times of having gorilla fingers. It's like having 10 thumbs. You learn to work with it. All right, after all of my BS, let's be done with this. All right, well, that's the horn repair. All right, guys, we're back on the 70 Beetle convertible. We just took the seats out and the battery out. I'm sure you all know how to do that, so don't need to show you that. We're getting at some of the damage in here. There's some rot back here in the battery box in the corners. Experiment underneath and see if it has actual metal, but it looks like it. But that's not the worst part. We have the Flintstones going on over here. Yeah, it's pretty gnarly. I think that's a lot of the coating, but it's probably gonna end up going up pretty high. I'm gonna have to cut this out, but I'm just gonna see how far it's going. I'll have to get this panel out of the way. And Gonna replace the master cylinder and the 2 rear brake lines and clear them out. Some nasty brake fluid in it. And I've already adjusted all the brakes, so that they're pretty good. Just got the master cylinder in for the brakes and the 2 rear lines, which I'm expecting to be restricted. I'm not sure if those metal lines are going to come off these flexible lines under there because they look pretty rusted and old. So I'm going to have to be real careful with that and hopefully get them off. And if something happens, I might have to make a new one or remove one from the wreck over there if it's good and comes apart too. So that's what my game plan is today. And then Kyle will be in here with some repairs to do near the battery area and then the footing for the rear passenger on the driver's side. The little hole in the footing. So I'm gonna patch up some metal on the floors after he cuts it out and then paint and undercoat it to prevent it from getting any worse. That's why you see these pans out here. I'm gonna replace this area on the other side and I'm gonna use this area right here for this side. All right.
Hey guys, it's Dalton. We're gonna take a moment for one of our sponsors, the VDUB Factory. The VDUB Factory is a family-oriented shop that offers VW parts for a more affordable price with excellent customer service. Come down to the VDUB Factory in Ocala, Florida.
That's what we got going on with the 70.
Hey guys, it's Dalton. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If so, leave a like, leave a comment down below, and have a just buggin' of a day.